Have you ever thought that someone was acting nice just to keep up appearances? It's like they're counting on those times to use against you later. You know the kind of narcissist, the one who says, "Look at all the nice things I've done," when disagreements arise. But the real question is whether they don't have empathy or just choose not to use it. We're going to talk about what narcissism really means today, especially when it comes to understanding other people. Lack of empathy is one of the things that makes someone have narcissistic personality disorder. But wait, it doesn't say they don't have any emotion. It just means they have less of it. This detail is very important, especially for people who have been in a relationship with a narcissist and felt a spark of empathy only to have it go away. It's hard to understand, right? You might think, my partner shows empathy sometimes, but not when I need it the most. It's important to understand that narcissists can show kindness, but they don't always do it. Let's look into this complicated situation more and find out why that is the case. Don't miss this. To start, it's important to understand that sensitivity has two different parts. The first part is trying to understand, recognize, and be present with someone else's feelings, even if you aren't feeling those emotions yourself or don't always agree with them. You have to be able to tell when someone is sad, angry, or feeling something else. The second part of empathy is being able to think about how you affect other people. One simple way to show this self-reflective part of empathy is to think about how your words and actions might affect someone else before you say or do something. This is very important because narcissists often move without thinking about what might happen, which makes them not care about other people. Narcissists hurt the people around them a lot, not because they don't have any empathy, but because they can't do it as well as they could. They know when they've hurt someone and may admit it 2 hours, 6 hours, or even weeks later by saying something like, "I can see how that upset you," or "I'm sorry for what I said." Even though these explanations often sound fake, the people who say them know they were wrong. But at that very moment, their own selfish and spontaneous wants come first, so they don't think about how others might feel and instead do what feels right or necessary to them. A lot of people want to think that narcissists have no empathy at all, but that's not true. While it's true that narcissists don't always show empathy, I would argue that many of them have a fully developed ability to do so. Think about the beginning stages of a relationship with a narcissist, when you might feel very close to them, or about working with a charming, narcissistic boss who paid close attention to your needs and remembered small things to win you over. This high level of sensitivity shows that they can understand and react to your feelings when it suits their purposes. Some people might say that narcissists use pity as a weapon. When used correctly, empathy gives you useful information about how someone else feels. It tells you what might make them sad, what might irritate or anger them, what might make them nervous, and other things that can make them feel very strongly. By carefully looking at these cues, it is possible to use this knowledge to have an effect on that person. When a narcissist knows what makes someone angry or upset, or what their emotional triggers are, they can use this information to their advantage to get what they want, and then put the blame on the other person, usually by saying they are too sensitive. Many people have a hard time understanding the idea that a narcissist could have some empathy while also showing no kindness at all. It eventually shows that they don't care about anything. They have a hard time controlling their own emotions and manipulative actions. They may be very sensitive to how you feel when they want or need something from you, but when they no longer need you, they stop being sensitive. If that happens, they don't care about how you feel and will likely step over you without a second thought, even if you are in pain, whether it's figuratively or literally. When interacting with narcissistic people, there are usually times, possibly many times, when they showed real empathy. At those times, they might be able to connect with you. When that caring side is turned off, though, and you meet someone who really doesn't care, it can be very upsetting. Most likely, you wouldn't think that a stranger in the food store would understand how you feel. Think about if you were crying in the frozen foods area because of memories of a past relationship and no one said a word. You might feel a little sad, but it wouldn't hurt as much. Why does that happen? Because these people have never cared about you or shown understanding. They don't know who you are and are just going about their lives. They may believe they are being kind by giving you a moment of peace. It can be very upsetting when someone's understanding changes all the time. At times, you might wonder if their inability to understand means they don't care. Is their ability to understand others just turned off? Not really. It looks like they just don't want to try. The fact that they are showing empathy seems to be hard for them. Empathy comes naturally to someone who is mentally healthy. As an example, a caring person would probably stop and ask, "Are you okay?" if they saw someone crying in the frozen food section of a grocery store. They'd give support. That's what it means to really understand. Many people are confused by the fact that narcissists can sometimes show kindness towards strangers. How can he be so rude and ignoring me while giving money to a homeless person outside the coffee shop? They might ask. This behavior brings up an important point. It's pretty easy for narcissists to relate to people they don't know. It doesn't take much, just a quick acknowledgement, like giving someone money or asking if they're okay. They can show off their supposed kindness by giving money away, which feeds their selfish sense of self-worth. "Look at me, I'm a good person for giving money away." Usually, they only do these things when no one is looking. For example, they might tip a lot or offer help when everyone is looking. This inconsistent empathy, when someone shows it one moment and then hides it the next, makes things difficult. Empathy is something that can always be there. It can't be turned on and off. Instead, it's about how they choose to say it, and narcissists are very picky about how they do this. It seems like they don't want to show understanding, or more likely, they just don't care. It's important to pay attention if you're close to someone, a friend, family member, partner, or coworker, and you notice that their empathy changes all the time. This lack of stability often means that your feelings will be ignored. In these situations, you should be very careful not to show too much of your feelings or weaknesses. It's very important to be careful and guard your weak spots, especially since narcissists who feed off of pity can be dangerous. They have an amazing ability to watch other people, figure out what they need to know, and then use that knowledge to hurt others. When someone shows their weak spots without worrying that it will be used against them, that's real love and respect. Instead, we value those weaknesses and treat these kinds of issues with care. Imagine that you are a mother of children and a close friend is having a hard time getting pregnant. She's happy for you, but also sad and jealous at the same time, and you understand how she feels. You are aware of the possible effects of telling her you're pregnant again when you find out. You would be very careful when you talk to her, and you would first ask her how she feels. On the other hand, if you had a friend who constantly complained about kids in front of your suffering friend, you would naturally try to protect her, maybe by changing the subject or talking to your rude friend alone. This is how love and respect look. A lot of people talk about how they were honest with narcissists because they thought they could trust them. Unfortunately, when things started to go badly in the relationship, the narcissist used the information they had shared against them. One of my YouTube subscribers from Germany sent me an email that made me think of this movie. She pointed out that even though I talk a lot about narcissists' lack of empathy, research shows that they actually have a fully developed ability for it. This made me want to learn more about this idea. Being with someone who has empathy but doesn't show it is often more upsetting than being with someone who doesn't have empathy at all. This is especially clear in people with psychopathy who don't care about other people. It is very important to protect your weak spots if you ever get close to a selfish person. Know that they can change how much concern they have for you based on what they need. When you accept this harsh truth, it can be a powerful force for change that helps you set better limits and more realistic goals. It's a way to protect yourself in situations that could be bad for you. It's sad to think that someone would choose which people to feel empathy for, since empathy is such an important part of being human. This kind of behavior is often a sign of ego, and it can be very painful to experience. This should wake you up so you can figure out what's going on and take responsibility for your health. Thanks for being here today. Please like, subscribe, and share this film with someone who might need to hear it. Your support helps get the word out and gives others the tools they need to deal with these tough situations. Remember that you deserve to be with people who really care about you. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next film.